Hi, my name is Victoria Manette, and today I'm going to be presenting my project called Exercising More. It is a Six Sigma approach of how to fix a problem, in this case, exercising more. This is phase 3 where we analyze the data we have collected. So, to begin, a little recap. So, the problem is spending way too much time on the couch and not enough time exercising. It's far too easy not to go and do it. So these were the potential causes I identified in my initial defining phase. So laziness, having a hectic schedule, boredom with exercising, doing the same thing over and over again is never really fun. But there are a lot of reasons why I did want to exercise. So these are the motivations I had to change. I wanted to get healthier. I know it can relieve stress, and being in grad school, that can be very beneficial. It improves sleep. Again, grad school, not getting sleep. Better sleep would be nice, and just having more energy overall to get through the week. So these are the scopes and boundaries of the project. I wanted to track the number of times I exercise per week, track the number of exercises per week, like types such as running or swimming, track the amount of time I spent in each exercise session, so I get an idea of if I'm improving or not. So the overall goals I set for myself was I wanted to exercise 3 to 4 times per week, and I wanted to complete at least 2 different types of exercise activities, such as running or swimming. So through my measurement phase, I identified the different excuses I tended to use to pretty much convince myself I didn't have to exercise. During this phase, by far the most used for excuse was being too busy, with 11, but everything else like too tired, lazy, are all things that played a factor. So I created overall final excuse categories. The first one is too busy. Second one is laziness. Third one is being too tired. Fourth one is a desire to relax, which is not necessarily a bad thing. 5 is TA responsibilities, which unfortunately I can't really get out of. And the last one hopefully would have gone up, which is exercise the day before. Pretty much I don't want to exercise 2 days in a row, so this is an excuse to fill that gap in the schedule. So this is the root cause analysis I did with an excuse breakdown of what sort of went into each of the overarching excuses, such as tired, I wasn't getting enough sleep, laziness, sometimes Netflix is really enticing, or just spending time with friends. And then busy, which was the main one, is classes, TAing, completing research, and trying to just get through the semester. But all of these kind of attributed to why I was not exercising, and identifying what parts I can work on was very beneficial at this stage. So from that, I learned a couple of things to try and improve into the improvement/analysis phase. The first one is to schedule exercises. If I have it in my schedule, I can't use the excuse that I'm too busy because I know I've already set that time aside. Setting alarms was another thing that was very useful. Having something that actually reminds me that I had something planned versus just being like, oh, I'll do it, I'll remember. So the alarms were very beneficial. And the last thing was a reward system. This one didn't come too much into play, but I did have one game night, which shows good things happened. But yeah, the reward system was every 3 weeks I successfully met my goals. I was going to reward myself by having a game night with friends. And at the bottom of the screen, you can see that my schedule that I wanted to keep. So Mondays, I wanted to swim in the afternoon. Tuesday were my break days. Wednesdays, I wanted to go running in the morning. Thursday were another break day. And then Friday, I wanted to swim in the morning. I did have an extra exercise session on Saturday in case I was being very ambitious, or if I actually wanted to make it into the 4 exercises per week. So this is the data I collected. So as you can see, I had much more exercising on this section than the first one. In the first part, in the measurement phase, I was only able to make it to exercise twice, which is not nearly close to my goal of 3 times a week. And again, did very well in the month of November as well. So from the calendar, this is the data that was collected. I exercised 3 to 4 times per week in all but week 5, in which I only was able to do 2 times of exercising because I had research and formal evaluations, which made it a bit more difficult. My timing was also, amount of time spent was also very good. I was hoping to get at least 90 minutes a week, and only 1 week I didn't meet that, which was very awesome. So this is a breakdown of the different exercise types. 59% of the time I was doing swimming for exercising, and 41% of the time I did running. I thought it was very beneficial to mix it up, so I wasn't just doing the same thing over and over. And I apparently enjoy swimming more as an exercise route. So these are a list of the excuses I used. The highest one this time was exercise the day before at 19 times, which is awesome and exactly what I wanted to see. It literally just translates to I actually went and exercised, which is a very good sign for this project. So once I had the data, now comes the analysis to see if I improved and if I met my goal. So the first thing I wanted to compare was my data from the measurement phase to the data from the analyze phase after the improvements are made. So this is a box plot showing the different means and a number of times to kind of like do a visual comparison. So as you see on the left, it is the number of times I exercised in the analytical phase, in the analyze phase. And it is much higher than the before improvement. It also is kind of obvious by the fact I only exercised 2 times before, but on average, I did much better in the post-improvement phase. So, to actually know if there was any significant differences between before and after the improvements, I did a 2-sample t-test assuming unequal variances. So the critical value for it, or the value I needed to exceed, was 1.812. From the test statistic was 8.944, which well exceeded the 1.812, which meant I was able to reject the null hypothesis. And for this one, the null hypothesis was assuming the difference between the two means was 0. So it was saying that they were the same. So by being able to reject the null hypothesis, it means that the means were different, which means there was a difference between the before and after phase. And then I wanted to compare the amount of time I spent in the gym before and after the improvements. I used the same test. It was the same critical value. The test statistic was 6.866, which again meant I was able to reject the null hypothesis, and I'd spent more time in the gym after doing the improvements and having a schedule than I did before. So this is a box plot for the amount of time I spent in the gym, just like I had for the amount of times per week I went. And you can see the before improvements was much lower than the after improvements. So the last thing I wanted to really analyze was, did I reach my goal? Did I make it to the gym 3 times per week at least? So I did a 1-sample t-test. The critical value was 1.812. My null hypothesis was the mean would equal 3. The test statistic was 0.69, and that means I failed to reject the null hypothesis, which in this case is a good thing, because it means I had a mean of 3, which means my goal of going to the gym 3 times was met, because my mean was 3. So as a quick recap, I reached my goals. I was able to exercise at least 3 times per week after the improvements were made. I was able to get a variety of actually doing multiple types of different exercises, which is good and a way to keep it so it's actually going to stick with me versus just stop after this project is done. So for the future, I'm going to keep recording my exercise habits to compare to make sure that my improvements are actually sticking and not just going to disappear, and also keep me responsible to actually do it. So thank you guys all for listening. If you have any comments, let me know, and I'll try and put them in my final paper. Thank you. Have a good day.